So technically I'm not late this time. It's actually 9 o'clock this time. So today on RC Guy Garage on COVID and Coffee morning check-in. You probably saw by this picture that I just posted on Instagram right now because it was something that I had forgotten, and I figured I should try to at least cover my bases and make sure that I post it on, the platforms that I'm like part of. It's one of the things that I keep forgetting to do. And right now I can't see comments because I'm looking at the back of the phone. So if people are saying, good morning and stuff, I'm not being ignorant. I just literally cannot see the phone right now because I have the best camera supposedly facing the correct way. So obviously this picture right here is what you saw. I don't know if it'll focus on it. Who knows? Maybe I should go around the back. But this is the picture that you saw, and this was taken, I believe this was taken when I took this thing apart. I don't remember if I had taken the front diff case apart or not. Yeah, it looks like I didn't. So I had actually just separated the front half from the chassis because you can see in the picture, the actual chassis had snapped. Now, I just kept driving this thing. I knew this thing was broken. We had literally snapped one of these arms on a previous timeout, but this was a known issue. It was one of the upper arms, but I'm all cool with getting upgrades for this CAMO X4. Now, this CAMO X4 was a very surprising vehicle to me, only based upon what it is. So yes, if you overdrive this CAMO X4, you will break stuff because I have a tendency to overdrive things. I'm not saying I'm like, the craziest, thrasher out there, but I do have a tendency to abuse things. Not only, my RCs, but I abuse Big Black. I abuse my Camaro. I abuse my Trans Am. I think I abuse even all my tools except for the tools that kind of stay inside. But like any kind of like landscaping type of tool, backpack blowers, trimmers, saws, like literally everything. And it's the joke. Everybody knows, well, everybody that knows me, that has worked for me, they know because they're like, dude, why do you leave all your stuff in the back of the truck? And I'm like, because it needs to get washed. Right? Just like I wash my RC cars. And do I pay the price? Yes, I do. But being a, I'll lightly just say being called a mechanic. I worked in a mechanic shop, a billion years ago, and an auto body shop. So I've always had that base of mechanics. So you want to say like, a mechanic that works at a dealership day in and day out? No. But I also have a different skill set, which if Earl is on here, I don't know if Earl's on here. I'm sure Earl has this skill set as well, because he's more of like, I think we're about the same age. I think I might be older than Earl. I'm not positive, but I think being the type of mechanic I am, never went to school for it. It was always backyard mechanics, working on the ground, working in puddles, working on dirt, just figuring out how to do stuff. And believe it or not, figuring out how to do it the right way. And sometimes that was by messing things up. So a lot of times in my videos, like especially if it's mechanics or if it's working on, like, we're obviously going to be working on the stove. That's not going to be this video or this live. But I'm going to do a video of working on that stove because after opening that thing and trying to do some form of diagnostics, I realized, which I don't know where the packet is now, but comes with, actually, you know what, I might. Yeah, it's right here. So most of these, and I touched on this yesterday, I believe. Most of your like major appliances come with this packet right here. Sometimes they come in a plastic bag, but I think most of the time they come in this little envelope. And it says it's important do not remove envelope or do not destroy the contents. And the reason why is because for whatever technician, may come to your home or whatever to work on this major appliance, I guess they call it, they need to have a certain schematic. They need to have maybe certain codes that you wouldn't normally see, like just, like a normal consumer or a homeowner wouldn't be able to access, certain tones or beeps. Well, beep and tone is the same thing. Different flashes might indicate an issue. Well, this stove right here, that was a couple of $1,000 when we first got it, and it's one of those induction cooktops. So convection, so it's a convection oven with an induction cooktop. With anything, eventually things are going to need to be repaired. But the other thing that seems like a lot of people forget, you may be able to buy that Mercedes, whatever, or a nice BMW for, I don't know, let's say you buy it used. Maybe it's 10 years old. 10 years is when, I think it's like that 7 to 10 years or somewhere around there is when a maintenance, like more excessive maintenance schedule needs to happen. So even on appliances, they're only designed to last like 10 years. Now this thing I think is like 7 years old. So I feel like it's within that. It's a little too soon, but I also suspect I know why half of the cooktop went out. But anyways, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. I like, see, that's what happens. I talk and I forget the reason why I'm even here. So you guys are pretty much here, and I am here to do the COVID and Coffee morning check-in. We're going to be working on the CAMO X4. We finally got the transmission in. Was it yesterday? It's either yesterday or the day before we got the transmission. I think it was the day before yesterday. I don't even remember. With all the way the days are going. Yeah. So this is literally the only part we were waiting for. I did, after the fact, pulling apart that front end, I did come across the fact that I needed bearings, because the bearings I had found in certain areas of this RC had blown out. Now, while they were still together, like as a bearing look, like, because when you look, normally you can see the outer shell of the bearing or the outer race, because it's got an inner race and an outer race. So usually you can see that the outer portion of the bearing. Well, just visual inspection, you could see that the outer piece of the bearing was there. It seemed like everything was together. Very, very minimal amount of slop, but upon taking it apart was when I realized, wow, this thing is literally destroyed. So I had somehow destroyed the bearings in that CAMO X4. I will say, my opinion, this is just my opinion. I feel the bearings went out prematurely. I am definitely way abusing that CAMO X4 beyond, like, I think what it's designed for. If you saw the videos of the CAMO X4, I definitely abused it. The other upgrade that I had done was I designed in CAD a new battery tray, just based upon, just certain measurements and whatever. And I think I went through two trials. So the first trial, I'm pretty sure, was when I did it, it didn't have much of a structure to it. It was just basically just designing something, see if it would fit. I realized that I had messed something up because there was a certain step up that was towards the back, and then I think a slight step up towards the front, and I didn't account for that. And for some reason, I couldn't see it because I couldn't get a straight edge inside the chassis of the CAMO. It is what it is. It's R&D. So I eventually was able to, on the third shot, make a tray that maybe one more very, very minor modification, and this tray is absolutely perfect because it locates the battery down low. it actually shifts it forward, so it changes the balance of the vehicle. Instead of having the battery like way up in the top, or even taking that tray and putting it down where they say you can, where I placed the battery seemed to definitely balance out the vehicle way better than their design. And I feel like I proved that with the way the vehicle jumped. Now, doing that battery tray, the other thing that it did was it tied in, basically, I want to say like that whole chassis. So it tied in the front suspension to the center diff, I think, like the center diff plate or something like that. Whatever mount is there, it tied it in, and it made it stronger. But obviously I think you saw that crack. That crack happened, and I think with how this CAMO X4 is designed, for it to keep performing and me not even realize that it was broken. I mean, the diff case was broken, the chassis was broken. I just kept running it because I knew, well, I didn't know the diff case was broken. I knew the chassis was broken. I just kept running it because it was performing. And I was just like, how is this thing holding together as well as it is? And then eventually, when I took it apart, you know, I ordered the chassis, and then I took it apart even further and realized that the diff case was broken, had blown out bearings and whatever. So enough of like my Incredibles, you know, that movie, The Incredibles, you caught me monologuing. My daughter's awesome. That's from that thing. I have a habit of doing that because I guess I like to talk. And some people don't like that about my videos, and I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. All you got to do is either hit mute or change the station. So let's get into this CAMO X4. Hopefully this thing is still rolling. Hopefully literally the router is like 3 feet away right now. So hopefully we're not having any like buffering issues. I have no idea. We're going to set up we're in a different area right now. We're going to set up over the L shape of my counter right here. So right now I've got it set up to the L shape of the counter. And this is where we're going to work on the CAMO X4. Barbecue, what's going on, guy? So I'm going to obviously try to maneuver things. This is on a ball mount, so bear with me as I try to fumble through this. I have no idea what a good view is going to be, so maybe something like this. RC Sick, what's going on, guy? CAMO X4 is, well, for what it is, yes. I totally agree with you. For what that CAMO X4 is, it really is. I'll drag in my box of camo. This is what I call it. And when you look inside of here, this is typical to how I guess I treat my RCs. And the reason why I'm doing it on, you know, this surface is because this surface is going to be a lot easier to clean than working on, which my wife would probably freak out with all the junk that's still on here. It's still caked with dirt from when I broke it and literally just took it apart. I didn't wash it. It still has, and I can say it this way too, it still has last year's dirt on it. Because I think literally that's when I broke it. I think it's been, 6 months since I've taken this thing apart. So, yeah. All right. So I'm just going to set it up right here. And look at that thing right there. I just got to show you this real quick. I don't know if you saw the video that I just put out today on this thing. But if you haven't, oh my God, this thing is incredible. And then putting those kaijus on there. I mean, we do have to do, you know, some adjustments. We do have an interference issue with the front wheel. And I referenced that the only area that I suspect might have been an issue was possibly the turning radius. And there being a conflict between, you know, the steering components, because that's one of the things that, you know, is always a concern. Usually for the rear, it's not an issue. It's when you start articulating things. So when I did it this way, I was like, yes. I was like, this fits mint. And I cranked it this way, and I went to go turn it, and it's like click. Now, Gus's Custom Creations, I think he's more along the lines of not putting extenders on here. And I meant to message him and say, why not? Like, why not put extenders on here? Is it gonna mess with the track width of this this vehicle too much to where it'll be overdriving? Because obviously when you extend it out, you then start to overdrive the shocks, but that might be able to be changed with a thicker shock oil and whatever. But so your guys right here, I don't know if Gus is here, but what is your guys' opinion on whether if I should get hub extenders, which is kind of like, I feel like that's what I want to do, but I also want to know from Gus, why is Gus saying no on the extenders and to modify the wheels? Because I got plenty of wheels, so I can modify them, but also, if you know me, I don't like doing like extra work that you don't have to do. I'm not interested in like making more work for myself, so I like to sometimes take what's called the easy way. I like to take the easy way out if it's going to functionally be correct. You know what I mean? So, Gus, if you're here, I don't know if you are, or anybody has any reasons why not to go with a hub extender for this particular vehicle, please let me, tell me what give me your experience of why. I mean, going from, we'll say, driver's side, and yes, this is the United States, so this is driver's side, this is passenger side. So between the two sides, so you've obviously got the left side and you get the right side. Doesn't that side just look so much more aggressive? I mean, look, that looks cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's designed, that way, and that's what it looks like. And but this right here, that's the way the thing should look. Anyways, I'm gonna get this off the table here. We'll keep it out back here just as a nice, little backdrop. Yeah, we got ambiance, we got a candle going. We're going all out today. So I've got my, this is the front differential for the CAMO X4. At least I hope it is. It's what it said it was. And I get all my parts from teamredcatshop.com. That's where I got all my Kaiju tires and wheels. That's where I get all my parts. They have great prices. And as long as they do have shipping, but as long as you get over that little threshold, it's free shipping. And the prices, like I said, the prices are great. But there's your part number right there. Hopefully this is the right one. What is it? 06045. And that is, I don't know why it's calling it the rear differential housing. Oh no. Well, I'm pretty sure this is the same thing. So like Redcat likes to do sometimes is, a front diff is the same as the rear. So this better be the front, or this whole live is pointless. So hope I'm not going to get upset. And these bearings right here, the bearings I went with, these are an ABC bearing. I do not remember the sizing on this, and there is no, well, there actually is a part number on there, right there, if it'll focus on it. So, I don't know. Hopefully these are the right bearings. I measured them up with my caliper, and they seem like they were the right ones. So inside this box right here, this is where, hopefully, things are still together the right way. Because we had left this vehicle for such an extended period of time, and I kind of knew that that's what I was going to do, this is what I did right here. So, and this is sometimes what I do if I'm going to have a vehicle that sits for quite a while. So you can see what I did is I basically labeled everything on tape. This top side is obviously the sticky part of the tape. This bottom side is the part that, is not sticky, you can write on. So I pretty much tried to put all the screws where they should go. It looks like possibly the motor mount screws popped off. But I did hear screws rolling in there. But this, if you're going to leave something for an extended period of time, I have found that this method, as long as you're not messing with the tape, this method actually works if you've got to walk away. And the way the screws are placed are literally the way the screws came out of the X4. So, yeah, that's just a pro tip. Now, inside the box, I do know, at least I thought, did I hit? Oh, maybe not. I thought I heard, oh, there we go. Oh, no. That's bad. All right, there's only one set screw in here, and it says motor mount. That could be a bad situation because the one thing I didn't notice was this box has a hole right here. So, oh, and a hole right there. Isn't that nice? And look at that. Looks like the set screw could probably fall right out of this. So hopefully there was only one set screw. I don't remember. Hopefully I've got extra parts. So this might be a failed repair. But I'll pay for it. I'm trying to look on the tape. When I look at the tape, I do see a circle right there. You can see like a black circle. So I'm hoping it was just this one screw or a set screw. I hope. We'll just hope. Or I'll just hope. You guys can hope too if you want. Maybe get the crowd of hope going on here. So bearings, front diff case, well, rear diff case, front diff case, whatever. Bearings. Also got, I got a T-bone bumper to assist with the original breakage. So what I'll do is I'll just take these parts. Now, this is obviously the front cover. Front cover. This is obviously the cage and cover to the vehicle. I do not run it with this on there. I actually prefer the open cage, and I run my 30-degree clips upside down. That way they don't get torn out. So the bend actually goes down into the areas right there. Same thing on the rear. I just think it has a nicer look to it. I like being able to see the components. And yeah, that just works for me. So the rest of the stuff in the box right here, this is the T-bone bumper that I bought. And obviously the intent with this is hopefully to stop that diff case from cracking and the chassis from cracking. I'm hoping this is going to be the solve or the repair to that vehicle. I don't know if it's going to work out. It is very front heavy, so that's probably going to mess with my my battery tray geometry / whatever, but my battery tray actually is set all the way back. Here's the new chassis that we bought like, I don't know, 6 months ago. The new chassis for this, which sounds like it, oh, it's got some parts in it too. So looks like it's got some straps. I don't remember what those straps are for. But there's your chassis part number, 70501, and obviously says chassis. So that's the chassis for the CAMO X4. Get that out of here. I'm gonna put my iPad on real quick, just so I can. No, I don't want to talk to Siri. I want to put this on just so I can start maybe seeing comments because I'm having a hard time seeing comments. Live.
This profile page could be used.
It's got commercials. Can I skip my own commercials? Skip. Nice. Oh, it's the wrong thing. Oh no, where's my live? Here we are. All right, how bad is the delay? That's all right, I guess. We'll just leave it like that. So now I've got the comments. I'll be able to slide this over. I'm just gonna read the comments real quick right now, just to see how everybody's doing, because that's obviously something I haven't been paying attention to, and I'm sorry about that. And I am sorry. Ronnie Willits, damn 73 minutes early. Yeah, I know, that's the only thing. What's up, RC Fun? Earl, you are here, guy. 23 minutes. Time for bed. Yep. RC sick. Good morning, guy. Here's a coffee. I do have my coffee, actually. I think I left it out back. Let's see. I think Guy is like the Tim Allen of RC. Yeah. You know what's funny is the guys at work used to call me MacGyver because some of the things that I would literally just come up with, like just figuring out stuff. Like one of my guys, he locked his keys in his car and he left his passenger side window open, like, I don't know, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. And we were trying to figure out how to get into his car. And I was like, just let me take care of it. And I got a branch that was literally the length of the inside of his car. Obviously, it was crazy bends and whatever. And I fed it through the weather stripping, being very careful. I didn't tear the weather stripping or anything because I was, kind of like jamming my finger in there so I could put the stick in there. And I literally went all the way over to the driver's side and I went click on the button on the door and opened up the guy's car. And he was like, dude, you're MacGyver. So they kind of like gave me that nickname for a little while. And also they, cause a couple of my guys were brothers, meaning like, you know what I mean when I say brothers. They were my friends and they would call me T-Dog. What's up, T-Dog? I don't know. All my guys I tried to be friends with, which was, it kind of hurts you, and then sometimes it kind of doesn't, because when you're friends with your, the guys that work for you, the only issue is you can get taken advantage of, and we won't even go into that. Let's just say I used to keep my checkbook in my truck, and I learned my lesson. Hope that guy's in jail. RC guys, unimprovement show. Oh no, the unimprovement show. Ouch. Earl, you're awesome. Hey, at least I don't have a dryer. Oh, I could have the dryer going in the background. Chef, what's going on, guy? Kurtz RC is here. Jury VRC, did I already say? Chainsaw, what's going on, guy? Snuggling up to your toilet paper. Kelvin and RCs, you know it, man. Tim Allen of RCs. Well, I do wish that I had Tim Allen's car collection. I mean, I definitely love the fact that he's got a Camaro. That's big for me right there. First gen Camaro. He's Al. Oh, chef. Oh, just take that knife and just. Ouch. Some guys are like Wilson. You never see their face. Like, what's it? The guy called Chris Fix or something like that. You never see that guy's face. Should have went what? Hiking or Viking? On the way to work. Oh, dude, yeah. Sorry, man. Picking up another Savage? Nice, dude. Super excited. My kits and Mojave. Oh, yeah, I know. Jury VC, that's gonna be awesome. Am I saying that right? Jury? RC sick is jealous. Yep. I am way behind on the comments here. Let's see. I'll just try and go through them real quick. Yeah, Tomahawk and the Scorpion. Those are going to be some awesome builds. Just fun, Let's see. Who else is here? Oh boy, going to be messy. It really is. Super sharp, you know it, guy. Wicked sharp. Wicked pisser. Wicked mint. What, the T-bones? You put them on all your rigs, the T-bone stuff? The only thing that I don't like about T-bone is it's super, super chunky. I mean, maybe that's a benefit, but I wish they would kind of go easy a little bit on this front. Because that's massive, and that's definitely given some front heft there. But maybe they need it that thick for strength. I don't know. I think that's what you're talking about. I think you're talking about the T-bone, right? Nice moon candle. You know it, man. Chuck Hall, what's going on, guy? Print out exploded views and tape it to the... Right, that's actually a good idea, but that sounds like more work. I'd rather just get a piece of tape. It sounds like more work and ink. I'm really not interested in... That's too much work, guy. For me. The exploded views, that definitely sounds like a great idea, but for me, I am all about the less work you can do, the better off I am. To a degree. I gotta go let my dog in. She's been outside for like an hour now. I totally forgot. You can hear her whining to the back door. What, you want to come in? Are you all right? You want to come in? I see you. I'm sorry. I know. I forgot all about you. I'm sorry. What, do you want to say hi? Huh? You want to say hi? What is this? What is this? The whole crowd is coming in here. Get out of there. Her tail is such a weapon. Her tail is literally a weapon. All right, I think like that, maybe? Maybe you can see it like that. I think. Yeah, the pups, yep. All three of them. All right. Al was smarter with stuff. Tim would mess stuff up, so that's definitely me. I'm definitely Tim Allen then. Because I definitely messed stuff up. So I am definitely not Al because he is smarter. Maybe I'm a combination of the both. I'm pudgy like Al, and I have the smarts of Tim Allen. Just literally just gotta upgrade everything. Less work than looking right. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. You know what's less work? How about literally just having the parts and do it the right way and just take it apart and put it back together like right away and not leave it for 6 months. I think that's probably the best. T-bone bumpers, I put that stuff on everything. You could always say stuff. T-bone bumpers, I put that stuff on everything. Anyways, all right, so let's, not sure why that's in there. Probably just fell in the box. So here's the rear suspension. And it's literally just caked with mud, just the way it came off. So, and I think it looks good like that, don't you think? It gives it that nice look, right? Right there. It gives it that used appeal. Now this one right here, I did upgrade. So this actually goes like this. These arms go backwards. So I did upgrade to the aluminum lower trailing arms and upper link arms. And that was definitely a major plus upgrade to this thing. Again, it definitely performed. I was not worried about anything once I did those upgrades. The other thing that they were saying might break was these plastic ends, and these are available as upgrades in aluminum as well. But to be honest with you, I saw no need for it, and I don't mind having that little bit of extra flex right here. This also might be a good place to do that Gus custom creation thing and spray these down or soak them or whatever in WD-40 to introduce maybe a little bit more softness. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I think maybe once I break these, if I do, I'll do the WD-40 thing, like Gus was saying. I'll do the WD-40, and then if they then break again or become too soft, I'll probably then just switch to the aluminum ones, and we'll have to somehow then shore up the chassis somehow, or do something in the chassis to make it a little bit stronger to hopefully transfer that extra energy that's going to be slamming to the back of this chassis. So that's that part. We don't need this on here. We technically don't even need this for now. So we'll just kind of roll it. We'll put it out of the way somewhere. And then obviously here is what's left of the front suspension. Again, I didn't clean nothing. I just took it apart and kind of left the stuff together that needed to stay together. And I will only, oh, there goes a screw. Oh, there goes another screw. So I will only be cleaning as necessary. And I don't know where those screws came out of. I think they came out of here. So I'll put those back in. I'm not sure why I did that. That was kind of a bonehead move. But here's obviously the front part of the suspension. It's basically, oh, there it goes again. It's the, just losing everything here. It's the front part of the suspension. All blown apart. Servo saver part all kept together. Maybe I can just let it go that way. All right, so that's that part. Then inside of here, which I know that this kind of fell apart at some point. This is where the actual front diff is. And I think, yeah, all the bearings in the front diff were fine. I'm trying to, I actually don't even remember why. I know something in this required bearings. I don't remember what now, though. Oh, yes, I do. Just remembered. So what it was is it was the that front bearing, technically the drive bearing that goes in from the center diff. That's the bearing that had blown out. So yeah, so I bought, just a whole pack of bearings, whatever. And I don't think I have the original bearing anymore. So here's pretty sure that is the front drive cup, because what else would it be? Here is the center diff, which, again, I'm not sure where that set screw went. So it's probably going to take me a lot longer. I believe these are the screws for the T-bone bumper. I hope. I don't know. Here's an extra screw sitting in the box. Here's obviously either front or rear drive shaft. Again, I don't remember. Oh, it's that. So that's the rear drive shaft. So see, it's all coming together here. I'm remembering very slowly, but. And then this is my battery tray. So I do like printing in this gold because it just kind of has a cool look to it. So obviously having the chassis or the body open the way it is, when the sun is out, what's nice is this thing, obviously gives a nice gold-like reflective kind of look to it. But this is that battery tray I was talking about. This is that stepped section that's right here that I had to modify so that it actually went over the back chassis and this whole thing sat flat. Yeah, sits flat. All of our screw holes are all tapered, all done in CAD. Here's our hinge pin brace, I think, for the front. And that's bent. So we're gonna just rebend that. I think that's why I didn't buy that, was because, obviously you can rebend it. And then obviously here's the front arm hinge pins or pins. Various screws and stuff in there. Here's my red body pins that I use with this thing. it works out nice because the camo actually has red accents, and I kind of like to keep things kind of consistent like that. So that's that. So we'll probably need those parts at some point. And here's obviously the front bumper, which we're not going to have any use for. At least I don't think we will. I don't know. But here's the front bumper for it. I never did electrify it, so who knows? Maybe at some point I can, use it for something. I don't know. I don't throw stuff away. Like even broken parts now, I'm not throwing anything away because I'm going to do the wall of shame. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to need this right now. Obviously, here is the front drive shaft going from the center diff to the front differential. No issues with this. This is obviously laser straight, so we're good with that. There's another screw in here. No idea what that's from. We'll just throw it in the tray. Looks like a couple more screws in the bottom here. And again, I have no idea what these screws go to, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. And then, obviously, I was able to take the electronics out as a complete, kind of like, I guess, untouched unit. So this is the Redcat Racing, or it's the hobby wing. So this thing has a hobby wing something. I don't even know. The dirt's covering the sticker. This is a hobby wing, rebranded hobby wing 60. So this is a, 60 amp ESC. Focus. Well, whatever, it's 60. With a KV motor, is it? It's all dirty. Can't even see it. Can you see that? See, I can't see it. Is that a 3300 kV? I think it says 3300 kV motor. So anyways, this will be fun because I took this apart, like I said, 6 months ago? So it'll be fun trying to figure out how to put this thing back together, I guess. All right. How do I do this? I think I gotta open this here. Get some light here. Open this, get some fresh air. You can hear the birds. You can hear the rain. All right, so where are we? So I guess what I should do first is obviously maybe open up this diff case and make sure it actually fits the chassis. So I'll open up some parts, bags here. Of course, I don't have my knife. Need my chef's knife. I don't know why I'm using this knife to open the bags. It's literally, I think, my sharpest knife. And I think it's funny. I think it's funny how sharp I did not realize that knife was until I literally used it. And it was like, wow, this thing is sharp. So, like I said, fairly confident this is the correct case. I normally would probably see if it fit the original one, but I don't know where the original one is. So this all goes together. I think we're good. Kind of a little bit of a funky design here. How this all goes together. Yeah, I guess it's there. Doesn't seem like a very sealed case. See what I'm saying? Can you see like through that? because I can see light through that. Now, granted, it's not together, and maybe it might be a good idea when I'm assembling this to go ahead and coat those surfaces with a little grease like I usually do, just to hopefully keep contaminants out. But that really doesn't seem very sealed at all. Like, oh my God. I think this has got to be the right one, right? Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem very sealed. Maybe once the screws are in there and whatever, maybe it'll seal then. Who knows? All right. Like I said, pretty sure those are the screws for the T-bone bumper. We don't need that right now. So here's the brand new chassis. It would probably serve me well if I did. I don't know if WD-40 would affect this type of plastic, because I'm pretty sure this is that glass reinforced plastic. By the way, it just has like that certain sound and feel. This might be that glass reinforced plastic, so I'm not sure if WD would take care of that. But obviously the old chassis cracked, like literally right here where these screws are. It cracked right through and through, and that's what ended up cracking the differential case. So it looks like it's definitely looks like it's the right one. That is definitely fitting on the correct way. This is obviously the front cover. So, yeah, I think we're good to go. I think we're in business. I think that's going to work out nice. Now, inside of here, it also has a couple of straps, which I don't remember what those straps are for. I have no idea. These might be straps for wires. Like I said, this was like 6 months ago, so I have no idea what those straps are for. They're obviously for something, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. We're just going to figure it out. Story of my life. Just figure it out. All right, I'm going to get this out of here. I'll put this in the box. See, look at the dirt that it's leaving behind. That's why I didn't do it on that table. It would have left such a huge mess. I'm really not interested in damaging the table either. There's dirt everywhere. Okay. So, see if I can move you in here. Well, actually, I did this on purpose like this. So I should be able to just take this and wring that out like that, and then bring it down. Check it out. You get a close-up shot of my mangle fingers. Diff cups, obviously those are fine. This either in-drive or out-drive cup, whatever you want to call it. This cup is actually fine. Little bit of wear, but nothing to complain about. Like I said, I knew these bearings were fine. Those moved nice and smooth. And those are obviously the bearings that go here on left and right side of this differential housing, or diff, whatever you want to call this. I guess you just call it the diff. The ring gear is fine, mint. Pinion gear is fine. So everything was good on that. This bearing, I believe was on this shaft here. Again, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was. So I don't know. I just don't know what to tell you. I think that might have been like the inner bearing in there. Yeah. So that's the inner bearing. And that bearing was fine. So we're going to install that right in there. So obviously that's the inner bearing for in there. Which then this piece would go down in there. Now, one thing I want to do is I got to grab grease, and I'm going to grab what I usually say is my assembly lube. Something else I'm noticing here. I don't know what potentially attaches to that, but those are open holes, like right above. Do you see that? So hopefully some kind of screw goes in there, in those two top holes from the outside. That might have something to do with that servo cover or case. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out too. And I'm pretty sure this is the bearing that blew out, like I said, which is why I did end up buying this right here. So let's see if these bearings fit. Let's open the bag again. All right, I'm going to drag this iPad over. Check comments, because like I said, I don't want to try to be ignorant here. Leave that right there. I'm just going to try and... RC Sick, are you talking about me? Or are you talking about like Tony or something? Tony sometimes doesn't see people, if that's what you're talking about. RC Playground, what's going on, guy? I'm going to just here. That way you can see I'm trying to roll through the comments. I'll just back this up. That way you can see I'm not trying not to pay attention. Oh, is Big Papa Paul here? Big Papa Paul, what's going on, guy? I remember you. Let's see, what do we got here? RC Masters here. Nice. Playground, did I say hello to you? Demo RC, what's going on, guy? If I repeat people's names, it's just because Sergeant J, what's going on, man? Blue grease coming up, you know it. That's my favorite grease. Blue grease coming up. All right, so I gotta go get that blue grease. So I can leave it on here, and you guys can watch the comments slide up as I disappear. If I had Vector could be on the table and entertain. banging into my tripod, you. She likes to try and sometimes fit into areas that she doesn't belong. I will bring out my orange gloves. Got my blue grease. And I got I call this my assembly lube. All it is a pneumatic gun oil. And I use it on usually any metal surface or bearing, kind of as a pre-lube. And like I say, you don't do it the way I do it. This is just the way I do it. And it has always worked for me. Some people may say that's the wrong way, but that's cool. It does work for me. So see right there? It's just literally, it's a pneumatic tool oil. It's a habit of pre-lubricating things. So even like inside this pocket, so before I install, hopefully, one of these bearings, it better be the right damn bearing. So hopefully, usually when I have an inner and an outer bearing, there's usually a channel that's inside. So what I'll do is I'll drip a couple of drops of oil inside of here before I install the other bearing, or if both bearings are just pre-installed, already, like say in a hub situation, and I haven't, taken the bearings out, and I just used like the shaft just to check the condition of the bearings. I'll just take, like I said, like 1 drop, if that, or 2 drops, depending upon the size of the cavity. Just put a couple of drops of oil in there, and then I'll reinstall or install a bearing. And in my mind, what that does is just gives a little bit of, I don't know, extra protection, extra lubrication, whatever. It's just something that I see in my mind, and it seems to work. So let's, like I said, let's see if these bearings even fit. Because like I said, this might be a disaster. It's probably going to take me like 6 hours. You guys ready for a 6-hour live? Remember, you can always leave and come back. Get a nice sticker with your bearing purchase. But it comes in this nice little case. And it does look like it's the right bearing. Oh, I hope. Ready? Here we go. Does it fit? Ah, are you kidding me? It might be burrs, because it does seem to kind of go on. It does seem to kind of go on, but let's see if it fits the housing. It does fit the housing. I might just need to dress up this shaft just a little bit with some emery cloth. Just maybe if there's burrs on there, it might be preventing it, or it could be the anodizing. Because this is the bearing that was blown out. So it might have left a ledge on here. And my fingernail there is a very small ledge right there, which I think, with the bearing being blown out, it might have created a ridge that's not getting over. So I'm pretty sure these are the right bearings. So what I'm going to do is press this bearing in, obviously through this backside. I'll pre-lube it, but before I do that, I'm just going to touch this up with some emery cloth, which is just a very, very light sandpaper, or I'll just get some. That pin actually feels okay. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. All you guys here, you know what all this stuff is. I don't need to keep talking. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get some sandpaper or emery cloth. All right, so I'm pretty sure this is 400 grit, which will be fine. This is just a chip of 400 grit sandpaper. That it was the first piece of sandpaper I came across downstairs. And I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of dress that edge up just a little bit. Hopefully this will work, just like that. You see, it just took off. It took off like, I think some of those ridges or high spots. There is still a little bit right there. Right on that edge right there. But I'll test fit the bearing. Make sure it's cleaned off. We'll test fit this bearing now. And still, that's a no-go. So that bearing really kind of marred up the shaft. So I'm just gonna keep at it. RC Clan, what's going on, guy? Detroit. That it says it's reconnecting again. I have no idea why it does that. It just crapped out. And I just happened to notice buffering. So I don't even know when it stopped. So hopefully that works. Boy, that's really not going on. I can feel this like a ledge. It's coming across something. Oh, I feel it. Right there at that edge, there's actually a burr stopping it from going on. So that bearing really did some damage to this piece. Now that so now that most of the shaft is obviously smooth because I got the anodizing off, there is a very noticeable like burr thing right there. Man, that's junk. All right. Well, this is one of the original bearings. And even how did that? Yeah, that's so I have to sand this for a little bit. So feel free to go get yourself some coffee or some lunch as I sand this thing for days. It's almost as if I need maybe a slightly more aggressive sandpaper here. 400 might not be cutting it, literally. It's definitely polishing it. Get a file, it's faster. I know, Earl, but I don't know where my files are. You don't want to see my garage right now. Over the wintertime, my garage gets mangled. So that one definitely slides on nice. There's definitely still a burr right on that end, but the original bearing now slides on beautiful. Now the new bearing. The new bearing is tight. So the tolerances obviously for the new bearing are just very slightly different. So I think if I just work at this just a little bit more, we'll get there. It's close. I could probably press it on, and that might be what I should do, is press that on, but I'm also all right with just doing this. James R., what's going on, guy? Right, CAMO X4 that I beat to death. Suffered the consequences, but it was definitely worth it. So I'm gonna reinstall. Now this is just a shielded bearing, and what I ended up getting were I got sealed bearings. So this sealed bearing is obviously going to be on the outside. Now put the shielded bearing on the inside where it belongs. Hoping that's going to be enough. Guess we'll see. There we go. So that's installed there. Nice. And like I said, I'll put just like a drop of oil down in there. A drop. There we go. Well, I think I put way more than a drop in there. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to press that on. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drive that bearing down and inside. What you want to make sure is that the piece that you use when you do this, like if you're gonna hammer a bearing onto something, you want to make sure you're on that inner race and not the outer race, because if you start pounding on this and you're only contacting the outer race or that outer bearing surface, you potentially end up destroying the inner surface, because you basically start punching out that inner race and just start screwing everything up. So I'm going to grab something real small to aid with the installation of that. I'm going to pound it in. That might even be how I did it in the first place. So I'm just going to pound this out. I didn't like really slam it home. Just light taps. That should cause that to drop out. Just like that. The other bearing is still installed. It does fit in there nice. I don't know why. I just want to keep hitting this with sandpaper. I'm just going to hit it a little bit more. Just a little bit more with sandpaper. So I'm going to take this downstairs with me, and I'm just going to grab a 1/4-inch socket that's going to slide pretty snugly over the shaft right here. And then that will make it so that I'm not going to destroy this outer bearing when I do pound it in from the inside. So I'll be right back. Andy, where you going? So this socket right here should work. The only thing I don't have is I don't have a hammer. And I can't see. Looks like this says it's a 5.5. So we use a 5.5 to drive that bearing in there. Because I did clean it off, I'll just throw a little bit of assembly lube on there. Drop it down and in. Come on, get in there. There we go. Just use that socket just to back that up. But I need some kind of device to pound on that. Oh, I'm so unprepared. Now, I do have a smaller ball peen than this. I just have no idea where it is. So I don't recommend doing this on your counters, but that's what we're going to do. Here we go. We're there. Perfect. So all I needed to do is just get over that little, there's a little burr for some reason that the tolerance of the new bearing just would not get over versus the old bearing, which is kind of weird. And I mean, you're talking like such a small amount that, you know, I mean, that should have been able to just drop right in. You know what I mean? I mean, look at it now. It's nice and free. But there's still just that like little burr or whatever it is. So we're good there. Just had to tap it home. And now here's where the kicker is, right? What I don't remember is I actually don't remember which way this diff went. Oh no. I don't remember which way the diff went. So this could be a major disaster here. Oh, that's garbage that I don't know. I don't remember. All right, well, whatever. I really don't remember. And I don't know where the other diff is, because maybe if I had the other diff, that would help me out. Crap. I almost feel like I want to guess. So which way was the motor in? So the motor's that way. The motor's going to turn that way. It's going to turn the spur that way, which is going to rotate this that way. So I'm going to... I'm going to take a guess here, and I'm going to guess that the diff went this way. Because it fits either way, obviously, because this is a front or a rear. And I'm guessing, like I said, motor spinning that way, spur spinning the opposite, which is spinning this way, and that's going forward. So hopefully I'm right. I don't know if I'm right or not. I think I am. I'm literally just gonna go with it. And yeah. Maybe I should find like the screws that put this together. So here's the diff screws, I think. Are those the diff screws, or are those the... See, what a mess. Are those the diff screws, or are those literally the screws for the chassis? So these are the screws for the chassis. All right, so here we go. So those two screws right there, front bumper, those screws right there were for the diff. Obviously servo. Then it says servo saver. Then I have no idea what that means. Oh, servo. Those are actually the servo screws to actually put the servo in. And then motor mount. All right, so this has nothing to do with the diff case. So the diff case screws must be in here. I can only hope. Like I said, I mean, I took this apart like 6 months ago, so I'm trying to remember. And I'm not a manual kind of, individual. I'd rather just literally figure it out. Suffer the consequences, you know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Watch me have to take this whole diff out again. That would be terrible. All right, so we got some parts in here. Got some screws, got some long ones. These probably are for the diff. It would kind of make sense because obviously here's our pin retainer, our pins. And these are definitely not straight. So like what you've seen other people do, not only just me, you would take your pin and you roll it on a flat surface to see if it's straight. And if it doesn't roll, that means that it's bent. Yeah. It's not that bad though. Probably good enough to work. Could get my little, I got that Harbor Freight bench vise. I could attach it over here. You know what? Maybe it's sand. Yeah, that one looks all right. It's got a little bit of an S. That one's got a little bit of a bend in it. But for this Camo X4, I think we're good. I think those are fine. We'll just go with that. We do have to straighten this out though. Again, don't use your countertop to straighten things. Not a good idea. Hope my wife's not watching. That side's bent too. Watch out, headphone wearers. Looks like we're close. Almost looks like it's supposed to have a certain bend in it. There is an impression I'm seeing, so I don't know if this is supposed to be flat. I think the countertop is actually flexing. I don't know. That hinge pin definitely looks like it's got an arc to it, doesn't it? See that thing? Yeah, I don't know. All right. We'll just go with that, see if it works. Pretty sure these 4 screws right here are probably what put the diff together. You do see I got 1 screw there, or 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then obviously on here, there's only 1. No. All right. Let's grab some blue grease. And we'll put a clean surface under here. That way we're not introducing any grit into this piece right there. These screws should be fine. There we go. Get our blue grease. And we'll just mash it in there. Just like that. Perfect. Looks like just the right amount, huh? Get the piece of dog hair out of there. Oops, where'd the bearing go? So I do want to just lightly coat those bearing surfaces right here. So I'm just going to dab just some grease like that. Same thing on the opposite side. Just like it's the bearing, I guess you call it, I don't know, bearing pocket. Looks all right. Make sure there's no dirt in there. And I do believe it went this way, but I don't remember, so I may be taking this apart like later off camera after it fails. All right. Jam that in there. That seems good. I really hope it's that side. Okay. So now it looks like we just need looks like 2 screws go down, 2 screws are on the upper. I did want to, I guess, smear some grease inside this area too. Smear some right in there. Get a little bit on those bearing surfaces. And then, like I was saying, I did want to kind of almost see if like that kind of sealed because of all that light coming through. And then we'll just wipe off the excess. I can pack more grease in there after the fact. So it looks like it kind of needs to go down and in. Like it goes like in to that right there. I think that's closed. Kind of looks like it's open. Looks like it's a little open. Because it looks like we have much better clearance on one side than we have on the other. It looks like it's tight up against the hub on that side, but not on the other side. So I can't tell if it's open. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to go with it. Oh, if we introduce a little hammer to it. Maybe it's called hammer time. Let's give it a couple love taps. Couple love taps down. Done with the grease for now. All right. So now we got two screws going through this backside. I believe, I don't think, nothing attaches to that. So looking at the shock tower, man, you know, I wonder. Looking at the shock tower, it does not look like, so I'm looking at the shock tower. It doesn't look like the, that has nothing to do with like the shock tower on that side. It looks like a point blank, just a screw goes in through those two holes. And then a screw will go down in through those two holes right there. Pretty sure that's the way it is. We've got two longer screws and two shorter screws. And the shorter screws definitely are going up top. This is where my case comes in handy here. So grab this one right here, see if that's it. Yep. Screw that in. You know what? It looks like I should screw the bottom ones in first because we actually lose a little bit of clearance by that cap head. So I'll use the longer ones first and screw it down to the base. Like this right here. Screw that down. I'm not going to screw, well, actually I should screw it all the way. Just talking to myself here. Go on this side. Same thing. So if we had put those screws in first, it definitely would have prevented us from driving these screws in at a more straight angle. So there definitely is a way that you should put these screws in, and you do the base plate first. Then we can go after these screws right here. Actually, no, we can't. Because guess what I just realized? That shock tower slides down onto this. So I think we need the chassis. See, it's all coming. It's all coming together slow. That's what happens when you don't use instructions, and that's just the way I do it. May take me a little bit longer, but it teaches you. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you to try to like remember and try to use your brain, I guess. I'm not saying that people that use instructions aren't using their brain. They're probably actually using their brain in more of a right way than I am. So that would be going on to there. Just like that. So that is how that goes. So we will bolt the differential case or the differential housing. This is actually the housing. So we'll bolt that onto there. But I do believe that I want to maybe put more grease in here. I really hope this is going together the right way. It's feeling tight. I don't like the tightness that I'm feeling here. Could be just the amount of grease that I have in there, just could be making it tight, but it almost also feels like it's got excessive engagement. Hear that? It does seem to have a little bit of excessive engagement, but I also really don't think there's anything we can do concerning this particular Redcat. Could you imagine if literally I'm installing this backwards and it's literally designed to go the other way, but I'd have to say no, because this is either going to be front or rear, and obviously it has to be opposing. So it's either going to be left or right side. I'm at a loss here. Come on, people, help me out. Does anybody know? I'm going to be putting this together for nothing. I think I've got it the right way, but I guess we'll find out. I'm just going to throw some more grease in there. Why not? It's wide open, might as well. There we go. Pack that bad boy. And then what I wanted to do is I did want to just light touch right around the edges here to hopefully create some type of a seal between the chassis and the and this housing. Just little light touches of grease. You know, kind of like Bob Ross. Happy trees. Light touches. It's got his little fan brush. Almost looks like a fan brush. This is the Bob Ross fan brush right here. Happy trees. The Bob Ross of RC. That's who I am. Got my fan brush and my happy trees. All right. Well, let's just go for it. I really hope that that's what is supposed to be happening here. Pretty sure. So now we can go to our screws. We'll pick off our 4 screws that we have on our tape here, our tape guide. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are really stuck on nice. Now we're probably going to be taking out, I'm assuming 2 of these screws. So what I'm guessing is that these 2 screws are probably the permanent ones, where these 4 screws are probably the ones for this brace. And yes, it is. So I think for now, all I'm going to do is that T-bone bumper did come with brand new screws. So I will just lock down these 2 right here for now, because it doesn't make any sense to install those other 2. So I guess we'll count that as we've got some extra parts. Be nice and careful. Don't over torque. So there we go. Like I said, this is all just from memory. So for now, I'll take these screws and I will stick them back on this tape. We probably don't need them, but just in case. Now these screws obviously get screwed in once I slide the shock tower brace into position. Then I can take those screws and drive them this way. And then those other screws that are actually still in the shock tower brace are going to go in this way. I think the lighting is terrible, isn't it? All right. I'm going to just check comments real quick, just so, like I said, I'm trying not to be ignorant. Who else is here? Shim it? I can't. I don't think there's any, I really don't think there's anything in there to shim. Do you know what I mean? And besides the fact, I don't have any shims. This does not move left or right. I think because it's such a tight case, there's no shimming. So it's literally just going to have to, it's going to have to wear in, you know? I'm sure those soft gears will wear in nicely. But who knows? Maybe this is even backwards, Earl, you know? I'm probably doing it backwards. Bob rocks. Happy trees. Dude, he was an awesome artist. When are we supercharging the stove? I told my wife that was going to be today, so I'll be doing my stove upgrades today. Stove supercharging. He actually did that. Didn't he supercharge like a dishwasher, and then like the whole motor like blew out of the back of it or something in his kitchen? It went towards like the living room. I think I remember that. I think it was his dishwasher. He like added more power to it. His Tim Allen grunt there. All right. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this is right. I don't know, like for real. I'm hoping that's right. I was guessing motor rotation, so I had to guess what side that was on. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. It's probably backwards. Probably backwards. Actually, wait a minute. I could figure that out right now. What am I doing? All I have to do is check the rear. So that rotates backwards to go forwards. I think I might have this backwards. So hold on, I might have just figured it out, and that was really, again, like I said, that was a bonehead maneuver of me. Right there. I literally could have just checked the rear. Why did I do it this way? See what happens? So as long as that's reverse rotation, which I can't tell because that's not going to spin. So as long as this goes forward when I turn it this way, oh, it's backwards. It's backwards. All right, well, that was good. That was being really stupid. I could have just checked it by checking the rear end. So when spinning the rear wheels in a forward position, we're getting this rotation this way. So that diff, I did install that incorrectly. So I guess it's good that my brain figured that out right now. And that way I'm not taking, 100 more steps backwards. Why didn't I check that? That was stupid. I had the rear end right there. Bonehead. See what I mean? That's why I'm telling you. I really don't mind doing this and screwing up. I don't have any sense of pride. At least I'm figuring it out right now. And not putting the whole thing together. It's going to be messy though. It is definitely going to be messy. Damn it. I wonder if one of you guys said something. Did somebody say something in the comments and go hey, just check the rear end. You'll get your rotation. Why didn't I think of that? Idiot. Oh my goodness. Might not be as messy as I thought. And watch, Earl, watch it literally be free now. What a loser. Oh my God. Actually, it wasn't that messy. Well, folks, that's as easy as it is. You just flip-flop it around and take a hammer to it again. Isn't that funny? I actually do have to take the hammer to it. I think the grease is literally causing it to not close. Like hydraulic. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you leave oil in a hole when you're trying to torque a bolt down, you'll get a fake hydraulic pressure. You'll get a fake torque reading. So keep that in mind. I might be getting, it might not be clamping only because of the grease being maybe in the way. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I'm just glad I figured it out now, sooner than later. Did somebody say it though? Got to flip the front and then... But did somebody say that in the comments? I'll literally have to read all the comments. You did? Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I should be paying more attention to the comments. Why didn't I think of that earlier, man? It's kind of like the same thing with that, the Habao Truggy. Like when I'm looking at it, I'm analyzing, I'm trying to figure out, like, why does this say easy flip? There's nothing easy about this thing flipping. And then somebody commented, who knows, it probably was you. Somebody commented something like they paused the video and they could see right away how to fix the issue. And I was just like, yeah, well, my brain doesn't work that fast. So there we go. Yay. See? RC Guru Garage right here. Told y'all, I'm the guru here. The guru of nothing. And who was it that said it right? RC Sick? I should pay more attention to the comments. So RC Sick can take the credit. Because he knew and I just wasn't paying attention. All right. So now that we're good there, I feel a little bit better about now flipping it over again. Nice. All right, let's get this grease out of my face. I don't need that anymore. I still haven't had my coffee. It's probably cold now. Oh, it's not even cold. So, where the heck is my coffee? I know oh, it's way over here. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, out of her face. So. All I'm doing right now is I'm just walking around. So here, you want to see me walking around aimlessly? At least I can be more engaging this way. I'm just going to wash my hands because I didn't wear gloves. This is my freshly Nuka-waved coffee right here. Ah, good stuff. All right, get back down to here. You want to see my dog? Hey, Daisy, what you doing? What? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? She's a good pup. She's a very good pup. All right. Jerry VRC, it's snowing where you are? Super sunny outside and snowing? That's a horse. Yeah, we have actually a saddle for a horse that we used to take care of. I thought about throwing it on her just as a joke. But obviously the belly strap would be massively huge on her. But the saddle probably would fit her back. She's trying to play with the Yorkie right now. The Yorkie is my wife. So is the white one that you didn't see. She's like just way over there, just being a good girl. The white dog, which is she's a combination, like she looks like a caramel speckled white dog. She's our oldest one right now. and she is a Australian cattle, which was the dad, mixed with a Papillon. So if you ever look at a Papillon and you look at an Australian cattle together, you just like literally, you literally say to yourself, how? Because the female was the Papillon and the male was the Australian cattle. Yeah. I'm serious. You just go, how? How is that possible? That just doesn't seem to functionally work. A plain Yorkie? Well, that's what we have. We have a plain Yorkie too. But the horse dog over there, which a lot of little kids, when they see her, they just because of her markings, they think she's a tiger. So we had been down the Plymouth waterfront, and one little kid walked up to me, and he's like, in the cutest little kid voice, he's like, "Can I pet your tiger?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, you can pet the tiger." That was awesome. All right, so we're gonna drag in now the front suspension. We're gonna lose those screws again. Where's the other screw? Did they both pop out? Yep, they did. All right. So I don't know how well you're seeing this. Thinking maybe I should put the camera up a little higher this time. Something like, maybe I should just back up. Maybe like that. The way you can just visually see it a little bit better. So like I was saying, the way this shock tower configuration like stuff happens, obviously here's the servo mount. This section of the servo mount goes into this pocket right here. Yep, and then the two screws that are right there, those mount through to the top of the diff. And then there's two screws still sticking inside of here, which it's this one here, which we can probably leave in. And then this other one right here, those actually connect. Actually, I do have to take them out, don't I? No, I don't. Those connect in through this top part. Like, so these little top ears right here, those two screws go in through there, and then that bottom screw that is, where is it? Those other two longer screws, these ones over here, those ones then go through the case, the front side of the case, through the shock tower, and then basically bolt in to the back side of the case. Amazing, I remember that, huh? So I'm just gonna kind of throw this into place here. If I can. I definitely did this the hard way. So I'm going to just slide this down into place, if I can, on camera here. It should slide down and in, just like that, okay? So that's settled down and in. It's obviously the bottom of the shock tower interlocks with the both front and rear half of the diff case. The two screws that are already right there, these ones. Oh. You know one thing I'm wondering? All right, so that hinge pin actually goes in the front. All right, so these two screws right here, these need to be screwed in. And I could use the driver, but because of being so close to the camera, it'll probably like blow out people's ears if anybody's got headphones on. Sometimes people have headphones on, and I forget that. So we got those 2 screws there. Got these 2 longer ones right here, which go to the lower hole of the chassis. Not chassis, of the diff case. Goes through the front, through the shock tower, and into the back. Just like that. All right. Let's see. Now, I want to square away, I guess, the front suspension. So both left and right side, or driver side and passenger side. We need hinge pin, this thing right here, the hinge pin brace. We also need the 2 pins. And should I have put that in? I wonder, should I have put that in first, or can those pins slide through? No, it looks like they'll slide through. So hopefully if it's straight enough, they should actually slide. They should actually slide through. Line up the dog bone. Throw that suspension arm in there. Just like... All right, what if we put the pin on after the fact? Now, for some reason, it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. Not sure why. There we go. There we go. All right. I think I can put the pin on after the fact. And it does have E-clips, which, you know what? At least I think it had E-clips. Oh, there we go. So there's 2 E-clips in there. So it did have E-clips, or should I say it does have E-clips. Amazingly, I did not lose them. So just make sure that when you put this shaft in, which probably would be better if I straighten these, but I think they're good enough. Just make sure that your little E-clip is facing the forward section, I think. Just a guess. It's all guesswork here. It would be a lot easier if I took like things apart, but again, that's just not me. I like to do things the hard way. Which I probably will end up doing. There we go. Slide that bad boy right in there. And I'm assuming the only thing I think I don't like, though, is I may actually have to straighten this brace, this pin, or this hinge pin thing. I can't tell if it's bent or if it's supposed to have that arc or not. It almost seems like one side is bent and the other side is kind of straight. So I guess I could just try it, see what happens. Pretty sure that the pin is supposed to be maybe the pin is supposed, maybe the E-clips are supposed to be to the back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it. See if that works. That seems to work. So I think we're good. I think we're good like that. Again, I'm just going off of memory. Now we'll throw this side in, line it up. Again, like I said, this is the tough part because you can't see how I'm like contorted trying to get around this camera. That's why it sounds like I'm probably eating the camera right now because my face is literally up against the camera trying to see here. I'll leave it like that for now. And I'll hopefully get this hinge pin in place with it being like that. There we go. It's in, but the pin did slide backwards. So I'm just going to take something and pry that pin back forward. Like that, maybe. It almost seems like it actually does seem like that is supposed to have that bend in it. So I'm going to force that through again. It's not on camera, sorry. Just having the slightest amount of issue trying to line up that pin into the hole. So maybe what I should do is install it after the fact. So I can get it out. I think I'll try installing it after the fact now. Now that I'm kind of seeing that that's not really going as planned, I'll put the hinge pin or brace in place and then put at least that pin in, maybe. Maybe that'll help. So I'll just install this one side like this, because that pin seemed to line up a little bit easier. And again, this could be bent. I don't know. I should be able to just get that on. Hopefully weasel it into place maybe. Or maybe not. All right. What if I just try it this way? What if I just go like this? Put that into place. Then put the hinge pin on. Let's see if that helps. Probably makes more sense this way. Hey, look at that. It's easier doing it that way. Now I'll take my little clips. I'll put them on before I dive those pins into place. Whoa. Hopefully this is the way it's supposed to be. It seems like it makes sense, but I'm not gonna look at the manual. It's just not, I don't do it. There we go. Now just tap those down, hopefully into place without breaking something. Did I literally just knock off that E-clip? No. That works. There we go. Nice, look at that, huh? Starting to get this bad boy back together here. So now we can install the servo saver and slave into the pocket on the chassis. Bring that down. These two screws right here, not those, these. So we have this right here which says servo saver, which has got to be the bottom. Right? So I'll flip that upside down. And this should literally just install into there. And the same thing with this one. Just should just install right in. And those are machine screws, by the way. They're not coarse thread, they're machine screws because they're going into metal. So that's tightened down nice. So we got front suspension on. Now we've got the two top screws right here, which have nothing to do with that. Those are those ones that I kept popping out, which are these two screws right here. The ones that I actually left in that, that's a steering servo saver brace to differential. I guess you call that front diff. So it's just that brace. So these screws are going to go in these two holes right here. What about this channel, Earl? Do you love this channel as much? I guess you like this channel because you wouldn't be here, right? Either that or you're just tolerating it. I'm just tolerating your channel. I should have the dryer going in the background. Kabang, kabang, kabang. All right, so we're getting there. The only thing that kind of made difficult for myself in this process, which I just realized, was I'm going to have to end up taking a tire off in order to get to the front drive shaft. I just realized that right now. But that's whatever. No big deal. We're getting there. We're getting there. So now we can install, I am assuming, this right here, which I know that this said motor mount, but I don't see the, why would that say motor mount? Because this, I don't know why I called this motor mount. Because this looks like it actually goes for the drive shaft right here. So I'm not quite sure why I called that motor mount. I mean, I might be paying for that later by not doing this right, but again, none of this build is right. We're just literally trying to go off of memory here. I'm just going to thread this into here for now. It does go in, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that says no. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm missing a piece. That doesn't go there. This is the rear. All right, this is the rear. What am I thinking? That's why it's got the slip joint. So that's rear. What I'm missing was this. And this does have the screw on. So that's why I called that motor mount rear. Because that was, and I don't know why I called it motor mount rear. So that is literally for the rear diff. This, obviously, is for the dog bone for the cup. So I knew I'd get it. I knew I'd get it. Just takes a couple minutes. Takes a couple minutes in patience. So we can still, though, we can still kind of just, yeah, we'll just leave it alone. We'll leave it on the tape. I do want to take this set screw out, though. And I will take off a wheel now. Is there one access better than the other? Not really. So I'm going to take this wheel off right here. Which hopefully I've got the driver for that. I might not, because I've got my smaller setup here. Yeah, and I don't. But I do have this. And this probably doesn't work either. Nope. I'll be back. I need my other tools. She's so big that when she turns around, she needs a backup alarm. All right. So I probably should have put that piece on, obviously before, but I didn't, so I'm paying the price of doing a step that I probably shouldn't have to do. Now, the only thing I know about this is that I thread lock the crap out of these things. So that's why it's usually pretty hard to get my wheels off. So now we can take this piece and I don't have my thread lock. Damn it. Where's my thread lock? Be back again. All right. Daisy, do you need to go in the back? Go in the back. Daisy, come on. Go in the back. Go in the back. Just relax. You don't have to be so crazy. All right. Got my thread lock. Now this is definitely the harder way. It's not like you can't do it, but I definitely shouldn't have done it this way. I should have put it on first, but it's that part of not paying attention. So now I've got to find the flat spot. I want to rotate it to the other side. Which is right there. So keep it like that. Take my thread lock, and I'm just going to put it inside the hole first, just to get a little coating right there. And then I will put this on that shaft, but I want to put the set screw in first. Just like that. Now I want to try to thread this in, which is going to be a joke. Hey, I got it. Now I've got to find the set screw, which is right there, and give it a crank. There we go. Mint. And here's the funny thing. That's not binding anymore, that gear set. So maybe there was a proper way to install that ring and pinion in there, because there is no binding. It's I don't want to say butter smooth, but it's definitely full of grease smooth right now. Now I'm not going to bother maintaining anything else right now. I'm literally just assembling this back to original, because I think if I go through the whole maintenance process, it'll turn this into like a 12-hour live stream, which that just would be insane. What are we looking at? You're looking at 2 hours. So I'll just tighten it up like that. So now we're good. Now it's not really a center diff. I called it a center diff. It kind of is, but there's no diff about it. It's a center spool. So we'll take that apart. I'm going to just take a paper towel for now while this is apart. Spin it up. Stuff it inside the actual drive shaft and just spin it out, just to see if I can get any contaminants out of there that might be in there. This CAMO X4, it did have a nice metal gear, by the way. So I think that's good. We'll give this a wipe. Pull that piece out. Again, we're not really maintaining this. This is just literally just cleaning just a couple of things while it's more accessible. All right. Done by lunchtime? Yeah, I think so. At least what, your lunchtime or mine? Much better. A lot smoother now. Hey, Creeper, what you doing? All right, so we can install the dog bone into there. Install that into there, but it goes this way. Drop that down and in. Dog bone. Rotate. And we can sit that right into its pocket. Is that all the way in? No, it's not. There we go. So there we go. So now we've got the center spool installed. Oh, hey, Earl. Big Mac guy. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Hey, Earl, just because you're here right now, did you ever figure out what was up with your, I mean, you might not want to say, but did you ever figure out what was up with the your limitless to infraction conversion with the I think it was that one with the your center diff or center spool? Because obviously, you know, you along with everybody else, I think, had noticed that when you were doing your donuts, every time you were going backwards, your front wheels were going backwards as well. Did you ever figure that out? Or are you waiting for a video? Or did you put out a video and I just ignored you? Kind of feel like I'm missing some parts here. You know that? I actually really do think I'm missing parts. Because there's no parts here. And what I'm missing is I'm missing those pieces that strap the center spool down. I actually think I'm missing those pieces. Because there's a rear strap, which I don't, it's not this. So somehow I am missing, because that doesn't work. That's definitely not for that. All right, so we are missing parts. Right? Yeah, we are. That's no good. Right? Yeah, we actually are missing parts. That is definitely not cool. So this might be where this ends. If I can't install that, this is literally where this live stream ends. It's a fail. Oh, never mind. Never mind. It's not a fail. So it's not a strap, it's the actual cover. Yay! Here I am saying, all right, that's it, it's over. So I actually did have the parts. The screws are actually still intact. That's a beautiful thing right there. Almost had me scared. Wow, that would have been junk, man. If I didn't check to see if the motor mount was connected, this live stream would have been over before it started. Started. Making fun of me again over there. All right. Whoa. Sweet. You don't know how happy I am that I literally didn't lose that part. That would have been a total bummer. Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Earlier this semester,
Yep.
I had uploaded a video onto YouTube privately
Yeah.
from one of my professors.
Yep.
From my phone.
From your what?
From my phone.
Okay.
I can't figure out how to do it anymore.
How to upload it from your phone? Do you have to save it into like documents?
Oh, there was a button on like the YouTube app. Where it said upload and you could select something to upload.
When did you do it?
Earlier this semester.
Well, you should be able to upload no problem, but you have to obviously you're gonna set it to private, right?
Yep. Well, what I'm saying is I've done it.
There's a here. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, look at this. We'll do a quick little tutorial. So grab your phone, just so I can. So she's trying to figure out. She forgets how to send a video to her professor, and I'm just basically showing her that obviously you just go right to YouTube, and then you hit the little camera button, and you're either going to send a video, you're either going to send a video, you're going to go live, or you're going to post something. So see how you have those options right there? See how you have video? Let's go to YouTube, click the little camera button. You should have, what is that saying?
Start the show.
That's weird.
Hold on.
There you go.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. She figured it out. That was quick. She didn't need my help. Well, kind of did, but not really. I'm usually asking her for help. So you made me feel useful.
I was up wicked late last night trying to figure out how to do this because, okay, recording this was extremely stressful.
Yeah.
Well, because, like, I kept having to... Because I was talking to all these other people,
Yeah.
like, during class, and they were like, oh, it's so easy. But it's like, they're an only child or something. They don't have to be, like... Because part of what I had to do was, like, say how many siblings I had and then where they all live.
Right.
So I had, like, 5 sentences of just saying where my siblings live.
Oh my goodness.
And that was only, like, one tiny section of it. So mine was really long. It was very stressful because, like, I kept losing, like, my train of thought.
Yeah.
Or I'd get, like, really close to the end and, like, I would, like, missay something, and I knew I missaid it, and I couldn't fix it. But.
So now that I'm looking at this, where it says motor mount, I mislabeled. Here, look. I'm realizing this right now. I mislabeled. So technically, that set screw was for the rear drive shaft. I just didn't mark it. And motor mount, these 2 screws right here should have just been over motor mount. Because obviously those are machine screws, which are going to obviously attach to the motor mount, which is why I separated it. So that I could actually fit it into place like this. So, yeah. So there we go. So I'm going to install the motor mount now. With these little machine screws. Hopefully it's lined up. I think I got the wrong one. Do I got the wrong one? Yeah, I do. Where's the other one? Right? This is wrong. No, it is right. All right. So I just got to line up my holes. Something along those lines right there, I believe. So that's what that was. That was motor mount. It really was motor mount screws. I just wasn't, again, just like what I do, not paying attention. It's all good. It's all good. I'm getting there. There we go. Now, I probably should thread lock these. And I will, after the fact, after everything is literally installed, I'll just go back and I will, that's like a perfect mesh too. It's a great mesh. Now we can install the piece that I thought was gone forever. Which is the, I guess you call it the spur pinion, like cover everything piece or something. Definitely going to supercharge the stove. Wait till you hear how I believe that it went out. And obviously I gotta, when I do this, when I do fix that stove, I do want to, you know, I'm going to video it, but I want to, if it works, obviously if the repair works, and the only way to know is literally just to parts replace this. This is the part that drives me insane. I hate being a parts replacement kind of person. I like to know why. And for this particular part, there is no diagnosis. I guess maybe if it got shipped back to the factory, but I almost guarantee if it got shipped back to the factory, there wouldn't be diagnosis either. It would literally be parts replacement. Oh, the camo is getting there. Look at that. We got front drive. All right, so where are we now? Install, I guess, the rear end, right? We can go ahead and install the rear end now. And this is the part right here that is probably absolutely like, I want to say, messing with Earl's mind. The fact that this thing is just so dirty, nasty. Earl is probably just, like I said, Earl is just losing his mind. So that's obviously installed from, I can't believe your RC cars look like crap. I was having some fun. All right, so basically all it is this part of the chassis connects onto here, like this. Get above here. Where's my driver? Right here. And these screws bolt into the tub, like this. So you get that one. Just don't over tighten. Then you get this one over here. Earl is losing his bananas. Now, I left the 4 screws, so there's 2 on here, 2 on here. Obviously, these ones right here are for the upper lengths. So we'll go ahead and kind of put that into place as an upper link. We don't have to worry about the drive shaft yet. Come on. Gotta make sure it actually gets into the hole. giving me a hard time here. Again, these are not the metal ones, so you just got to be careful installing them. Don't want to over tighten these upper little plastic link chassis frame, whatever attachment pieces. Did I miss that hole? Almost seems like I missed it. No, it's there. Now just go to the other side. Attach this arm up here. Now, what I am noticing, and I'm not sure why, but this one right here, that screw, for some reason is stripped, and I don't know, I really don't know why it's stripped. So, it shouldn't have been stripped. Like when I'm looking at underneath here, oh, it's not stripped. All right, check this out. So when I installed this one, it's literally in between. Here, I'll show you. Again, another bonehead maneuver. I was wondering why it shouldn't have been stripped. So we'll turn this over here so I can show you. So when I was screwing it in, what happened is the screw was actually going here. Oops. It was actually going inside here. So that's why when I went to go install that other one, it literally seemed like it was stripped. So now we'll just align this hopefully the right way. And that's more like it. I think I feel that's more positive. I literally was like, that should not be stripped. Why is it stripped? Did I do it again? No, I think we're there. Nope, it's there. So it was not stripped. Just operator installation error here. See? Remember, don't over torque these. You are just going into plastic. Come on. Getting the coffee shakes. I think I need more coffee. Now, what I am missing, though, I think I am missing those screws. Because I need 4 more screws. And I only see one right there. There's one screw here. That's for servo. So I guess maybe I am missing a couple screws, which could be in the old chassis. So what did I do with that old chassis? They could still be in the old chassis. They're Not in that box. Not over here. So somehow it does look like I may have misplaced a couple screws, I think. Seems like it would almost be like this screw right here, but there's only one. Earl Moorhead guy. Thank you, sir, for that coffee. All right, what are we looking at? So somehow I did misplace some of these coarse screws here. There are two, which are identical. And if I dive this through the chassis, I think I've got to go get the old chassis. I think that's downstairs. Look at CAMO X4 is coming together, man. All right, so in the old tub or chassis, whatever you want to call it, some people call it a tub, some people call it a chassis, I did leave the 4 screws in place. So if this build literally goes without one missing piece, after it being apart for this long, there's your epic right there. Because for me, that would be amazing. So 4 screws. To now attach this part of the lower link arms. But what we want to do is obviously attach or at least place in, I think, our drive shaft, or can we wait? Let's see. we can probably do it, I think. Yeah, it won't matter. There's enough slip in it, obviously. So just had to check. All right, so we got this screw here. Go throw that piece on. This piece on. Yeah, definitely. I have to think about it, Earl. If I literally waste, and I have to look at it this way, if I waste my whole day working on this and I don't get that stove fixed, ooh, I'd be dead. So I literally got to get that stove fixed. And I think the part is actually up here. And what's crazy is the amount of stove that you have to take apart to get to this one portion. I'll go grab the part. So that stove right there, that thing, what a pain in the neck. So I think, like I said, I think that's only like 7 years old. And this is actually a Samsung direct replacement part. It's not a fake part. Like, you know how sometimes you can get fake parts, but I opted to get the real, genuine deal. And literally all it is this piece right here. It is essentially, it's not even, I don't even think it's considered a motherboard. And when you touch electronics like this is not in an electrostatic bag. And the reason why I'm not going to touch the board with my bare fingers is just in case I do have some kind of static. Because, so this is what's called the touch screen PCI something circuit board. Like, you know, whatever. This piece right here, I feel, now I'm actually doing it opposite of what the instructions said, but just based upon my experience, this is the piece that needs to be replaced. And it's literally what I would call plug and play. You are literally only plugging in 9 plugs into this. But to get to this, you have to take off the entire back panel, because if you don't take off the entire back panel, you can't get to the wires that you need to release that go to the cooktop, right? Then you have to thread them through, because I put everything back together, you know, the right way. You have to thread them through. Then you have to remove the whole front knob assembly as a unit. That's actually easy. It's only 4 screws, open up the door, 4 screws right along that door edge where the door comes up and closes. And none of this stuff is online. So I'm hoping my video is literally going to be the only or first video replacing this part, showing people, provided it's actually the repair. Anyways, provided that it's actually the repair of that. My dog just like literally slobbered all over the floor. So provided that it's actually the real repair is what I'm hoping. So I'll put the video out anyway, because that's the way I do it. And it's kind of like that, what do you call it, trials and tribulations. But I do point blank feel that this piece is actually the piece that's broken and not the piece that they told me to replace first. So as far as a service technician, they would come in and they would have replaced the whole left side like brain, which is what powers the elements and all that stuff. And then they basically, which is a more expensive part, and they said, if that doesn't work, it literally says it in that packet. If that doesn't work, then you replace this, which is like another $200. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to replace this part first, not because it was less expensive, but because based upon what I feel happened, it's not the damn elements. It's not the brain for the elements. It's literally this piece right here. So we'll see. So next time on What's Up Guy Garage, because that's my alternate ego, and I'm not egotistical either. That's my other ego. What's Up Guy Garage. So in this episode of What's Up Guy Garage, and that's probably how I'll start it too. I like to have fun. Why not, right? Back to the CAMO X4. This tripod setup is actually pretty cool. Just got to twist it. There we go. It's like it's on a ball head, and then it looks like it has like an extendable boom. Is what I'm using. It's in a selfie stick. I have it onto the ball head on the tripod, so this is technically like a boom that can extend, which is pretty cool. All right, so we're good there. Now I can flip this over. We're going to now install motor mount screw. I really don't know why I call it that. And I am going to obviously use thread lock, because the only thing that I have to use thread lock on is just the motor mount screws. But once this is all together, I'll pop one out, drop a drop of thread lock in, put it down, same thing, pull it out, drop it, drip it, whatever, put it down in, and we'll be good to go. I'm going to rotate the rear end so that the flat spot is pointing up, just to make it easier. Install this piece, the slip yoke, into the drive shaft. And then rotate that so that it's facing up. Is that facing up still? Or did I lose it already? Yeah, there we go. Slip that on. We'll bottom it out. I'll drip a drop. Just like that. Let it kind of settle down a little bit. Then I will take my set screw and provided that's on the flat, it should kind of self-locate. Done. Here we go. Check it out. The CAMO X4, it's alive. See? Check it out. Look at that drive shaft, huh? Looks like I might have to think about getting a new drive shaft, because that thing, woo! Nice. All right. That's a good sign right there. CAMO X4 is almost ready to rip once again. All right. Am I actually missing the battery box cover? Am I actually missing that? I actually do think I really am missing a part. Oh no. Like seriously. I don't see it. I think I'm missing the I keep calling this the ESC. I believe I'm actually missing this yeah, receiver box cover. Oh no. Like for real. There's no parts. Oh well. So for some reason I'm missing that. That would be pretty obvious if it was on this table. And I definitely don't see that. So, all right, well, we're missing that. That's awesome. Oh, no, we're not. No, never mind. Yeah, we're actually not missing it. It's still attached to the ESC. On this episode of Bonehead Garage, like I said, it's all about having fun, right? Don't you make fun of me. Holy crap. I don't know. For some reason, just the way things go for me, I literally just expect things to be missing and not around, and I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and take the stone out of there. We're gonna install the servo. Holy crap. That is awesome. You got to admit, that is funny. It is funny. It really is. At least I think it is. So just install the servo down onto there. We'll grab our steering servo screws, which what's weird is one of them is excessively longer than the other. I'm really not sure why that is. Then again, I just figured it out. All right, because of the way the tub or the chassis is designed, it's V'd. Like it's obviously, it's going to be the longer screw right there, which I just grabbed the wrong one. So the longer screw goes there, obviously. Remember, no Arnold Schwarzenegger strength here. This is just plastic. Now the shorter screw, it's all coming together. No Arnold Schwarzenegger strength needed here. It's only plastic. There we go. I cannot believe this is literally coming together without a hitch. Meaning like this is actually really coming together. Motor wires can stay there. That switch can probably... Yeah, we'll go like that with that maybe. We'll stuff the receiver inside because I'm fairly confident that it was literally just stuffed in there. Just stuff all the wires in there. Get you a different view. It's the wire stuffing episode. So we'll stuff these in here. Just like that. Something like that. And I don't think the antenna actually came out, did it? Maybe it did. Is there like a hole there? Maybe it actually did. Maybe it came out. Maybe the receiver was in this way. And maybe it actually did come out. I don't know. I don't remember. So we'll just go with that. Just gonna stuff these wires in there. No care taken. Stuff that down and in. Look at that, the screw, or at least one of the screws is still there. This wire right here needs to go way over here. one wire getting, or two wires getting pinched. So we'll just move those over there like that. Hopefully that's good. I think that's good. I don't know if I like the way that is though. Does that switch kind of seem funny like that? Like the wire rooted over it? That means I'd have to take the servo out. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave it like that. I'll leave it like that, good enough. Just, I don't know. That seems wrong. Seems like that wire should be underneath. Well, we'll address that at a later date. So that screw is actually still there. So we'll screw that down. There actually is an antenna tube hole right there. But there's no hole for the antenna to come out, so I don't know. Maybe I should look at it one more time. Oh, there is. Never mind. So the antenna actually does come out over there. All right, got that. Jam these back in the hole. Put the antenna thing through where it should be. Showing up pinching any wires. Getting close. Antenna's actually still where it should be. It's amazing. I think that needs to pop out a little bit. This wire needs to be pushed over to the slot. I think something along those lines right there. Just about. All right, nothing's pinched. The antenna wire, that's where that's supposed to be. Now there's a back screw here for the ESC plate. And I got another screw right here, which I guess isn't an extra. That's going to go on there. Now I will have to figure out another antenna tube if I want to run that. Otherwise, it's going to get wrapped up into the drive shaft. So I'll figure out another antenna tube. We're looking good here for the switch. Now we just need to reinstall the servo, whatever it is here, the steering rod into the servo saver, which is a different driver. Boom. Thing of beauty right there. Look at that. All right. So CAMO X4 is coming together. Pat's channel, what's going on, guy? You passed out? It was late for you, wasn't it? Or should I say early in the morning for you? But yeah, CAMO X4 is literally, I think this is it, right? The only thing we need to do now is just flip it over and install the T-bone bumper. We can put my custom servo tray thing in place. I have no idea what these things are, other than maybe it's for the routing of the wires along that channel right there or something. I really don't know. It looks like it might be. It looks like these straps might be for cable routing, is my guess, because I do see that there is something, there's 2 holes or 4 holes down on the tub of the chassis. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like maybe that is what it is. These little straps here. So if we've got enough screws left over, I guess I'll maybe install those. Our wiring obviously going this way, right into the motor. I think I had things. Yeah, I had this routed underneath the battery tray. I think something like this, I'm guessing. And I guess that would make sense for those wires or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that's not anything. Basically, the whole rig is together. We don't really need to install this tray right now because I want to figure out the routing first. We do need a new antenna tube. Now, the only thing that's left is to go ahead and install hopefully, the cure to the reason why this chassis broke in the first place is installing this T-bone bumper. Now, it looks like I am missing, again, I keep talking about missing parts, but I bet it's part of the original bumper. So like you can see that there's a ledge right here. So if I look at the original bumper, you can see there's that little ledge piece right there. So we do need to install that because obviously that's what the T-bone bumper is going to install onto or install into. So I'll just remove these screws right here, just left and right of the original bumper. And who knows, maybe this bumper can be used for something else. And we'll have extra screws too. Now I am going to wash this piece up in the sink just because it's caked with dirt. And since the whole front end right now is clean. Yeah, so that is, all right, so I was right putting those E-clips on the front there. Totally makes sense now. Because obviously what this piece does also is it prevents those, I believe, those clips from coming out. Yeah, it does. So I'm going to clean this part right now in the sink. I'll be right back. There we go. Nice freshly clean part. So there we go. Now this piece obviously gets installed this way, like that, which it basically bumps up against those pins So we can flip this upside down. That obviously gets installed like that. T-Bone did supply. I'm not sure why they supplied nuts. Other than, I guess, maybe if they were thinking that you weren't going to screw into that plastic piece, which doesn't make any sense. But we've got some pretty long screws here. 4 screws, 2 nylocks. And the weird part, I don't think I agree with right away. These pieces, is this making any sense? These pieces are a machine screw. So we've got a machine screw going in through. Now, granted, this diff is brand new, so I will be technically cutting new threads, but so this would technically be considered a fine thread screw versus what originally was there, which was a coarse thread screw. And I feel like the benefit would actually be the coarse thread screw over the fine thread. Because the coarse thread screw is going to be cutting more spaced out threads than a fine thread screw. If you get what I'm saying, right? You guys understand, you guys know all this. So I'm not telling you something you don't know. So I don't know if I like that. I don't feel like that makes sense. Was I supposed to keep the original bumper in place for some reason? Well, I'm not gonna. But I really don't feel like I like the fact that I guess the 2 screws, the fine threads will go here. Maybe that's why. Maybe there's more material. They were thinking maybe there was more material going this way. So I'm going to try it. It's really not going to hurt anything, I guess, if I do it this way. But all I know is that when you're talking plastic, I mean, maybe these screws are just long enough to bite further into the stock plastic. Maybe that's like their thought on this. But a coarse thread screw would cut threads and bite better than a fine thread. It's almost like the fine thread, I feel, wants to just push threads out of the way, but then who knows? I don't know. Again, what do I know? I'm not T-Bone. I don't design parts. I just install them. I just buy them and install them. Maybe it won't matter. If I have to, if these do thread out, if these do break out, which I'm not thinking that they will, because I really don't have any more intention on destroying this camo, because we already did all the tests on this camo. So most of the driving that I'll do on this thing anyway is going to be just normal driving. If you know what I'm saying. Like, you know, I will run it, and I'm going to run it on 3S because this thing loves 3S. But, man, you got to be careful throwing these fine thread screws into this plastic. I can already tell this is not a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So I will install these here per how they have it designed. I will use those lock nuts, which are obviously it's because they already know that's why they're doing this. There's actually more threaded material that you can grab onto with those longer screws going in through the diff than there is on that. So that point blank is why they supplied you with these, because they knew that this front leading edge, it's not enough material, and this would definitely have a tendency to want to tear out that fine thread in that short distance on this bracket. So point blank, that's what it is. I'm not a rocket surgeon, but I'm going to go with that. I am not a rocket surgeon. That's why they're doing it. All right, I actually can't see. I am no rocket surgeon. But I know what I know until I know what I know, but I don't know what I know. I'm gonna go with that right there. I know what I know, but I don't know what I know. My head's in the way, sorry, man. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, literally, that strip out so easy. You know, T-Bone doesn't give you also instructions, so it's you don't really need instructions for something like this, you know what I mean? But it's just, it seems clear. You know, obviously they're giving you a fine thread screw. They're giving you those washers, those lock nuts for this particular reason, because they know that this front of the bumper is definitely going to be taking more of the brunt. I almost feel like I want to reinforce with maybe more screws or something. But we'll go ahead and install these little puny pieces here, which is, what is this, a 2? Oh, 5.5. I'm talking 2. 5.5. Get in there. You see, I'm just installing the lock nuts, obviously, from the top down. And yeah, that's it. That is point blank why they gave you these. Again, like I said, if not anything that I do on this channel, all you guys know how to do. I am not showing anything different. We're just having fun here. You know, it's not like RC Guy Garage tutorial sections. So I think we're good. So there's the T-bone bumper. Hopefully that is what's going to solve the issue that this original Redcat had, which was beating it the way that I did. We had fractured the chassis, the original chassis, and broke the diff. So I actually did find the diff downstairs. I didn't throw it away. So it had cracked out, obviously, that section right there, And I literally just kept on driving it because I knew it was broken, but I also knew it was still holding together. And I didn't even know that the diff was broken. I just knew that this was busted out. And it still kept on going, like the Energizer Rabbit. So I just kept going. And that's what made me realize that, like, I almost feel like this CAMO X4... So I'm gotta catch me monologuing. I almost feel like this CAMO X4 was almost like Redcat's kind of a little step ahead. And I feel like they've been moving in that positive direction ever since. I'm all blacked out. Anyways, whatever. I feel like they've been moving in that positive direction ever since. We are now, we're done. Other than hooking up my wiring, which, you know, I already know everything's all set. We only have to install the battery tray, which is my custom tray anyway. So it won't match what you have. So it really won't make a difference. Yeah, I don't know. The CAMO X4 is back. It's back in action. So it'll be nice to be able to rip this thing again. Ripping it on 3S. Went together. I mean, you know, the way I do stuff, obviously I still have to, you know, thread lock the motor mount screws through the chassis because obviously, you know, it's metal, and because it's a motor mount, I want to make sure that that thing does not, you know, break free at any point in time. We will just reroute these wires. They may have been zippy tied in there. That's how I say it, zippy tied. They may have been zippy tied in there. I'm not sure. And then discovered that these little, whatever the heck they are, wire capture bars or something, wire hold downs. That's what you could call it. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4 extra screws, but that's only because we didn't need 4 screws. 4? Yeah. Because we didn't need 4 screws because of the T-bone bumper. So those 4 extra screws would have literally been here and here and here. As far as the T-bone bumper goes, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I know sometimes people have issues with them. I don't feel this particular one we're going to have issues. I actually feel like this one is going to solve that weakness that I discovered from point blank abusing the CAMO X4. And that is what it is. I point blank was abusing it, and that's why it broke. I mean, it became a 3-link, and I didn't even know the 3rd link was broken because the thing was driving so well. I did not even know that the link was broken. It was the passenger side, well, right side, whatever. The right side upper link, which I think is like the one that breaks for everybody. The grasshopper legs, those are fine. Shocks are fine. Nothing's leaking. I do have to double check that battery, well, I call it a battery box because that's what it used to be. The receiver box, which I thought I lost it, but realized when I went over to the parts box, the cover was actually still attached to the ESC, which it's just that thing, man. You know, I mean, 6 months ago, I took it apart and I literally just put it back together by, you know, a very simple thing that I did just by using tape and sticking the screws to the tape and writing down pretty much like where things went, even putting things in the right position. And it's kind of common sense. Now, if I was to do this over again with that T-bone bumper, probably doesn't really make a major difference, but I probably would use a coarse thread screw, probably the same length, for those back screws just for this. I mean, it might not even make a difference because hopefully that front is just going to flex enough so that there's no tearing out. And obviously you saw that they used a machine screw, which gave you, you know, some nylocks to screw in through that front because there was not enough material for that bumper because that's the leading edge. That's what's going to be taking all the hits. And I think it's more the strikes that you would get going this way is their concern, not this way, because this way it's not, I feel like it wouldn't tear as much or flex, but this way is what's going to tear those front screws out. So like I said, if I was going to do it again, which who knows, we'll see. Maybe I will be. Maybe that whole bumper is going to rip off and I'm going to break another diff or diff case, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's back. It's back. So like I always say, if you guys are enjoying this COVID and Coffee morning check-in, let me know. Let me know, like, just put it in, like, in the comments, or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram. Facebook, it's the same name as this, RC Guy Garage, in all capital letters. It has the, if you're not a part of the group, join it. But I'll show you what the picture looks like. That way you know that you got the right one. So the RC Guy Garage group will have that yellow picture right there. So that's the Facebook group, where it's basically the connection between this, like all of you guys, and everybody that's pretty much a subscriber to this channel. Right now we are at 204 members, which is great. It is a private group. You do have to answer, 3 questions, which are just, all it is basically just saying, you know, we have rules. Have you read them? It's got 9 rules. I think it's 9. I don't think anybody's added any. 9 rules. And they're just basic rules. They're basically just saying, you know, we're trying to keep, you know, the group clean. You know, we're trying to keep it, you know, that family friendly. We don't, you know, yeah, it's just common sense. That's all. But it's a whole group of guys over there that are very knowledgeable. Not me. Like Gus is over there, Metz, Chef. Those guys are moderators to that site, as well as they are wrenches and moderators on this YouTube channel. So hopefully they can, like, you know, if one of them's here, they can, like, catch anything that maybe YouTube doesn't catch. Like if somebody's trying to be funny or somebody needs to be ejected or whatever. It's good to have, you know, that kind of protection. But yeah. So like I said, if you like these episodes, by all means, throw me a thumbs up, just because it tells YouTube that, you know, my channel is safe and, you know, you enjoy it or whatever. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, bell notification, all that stuff that everybody always says and that, like, I constantly say in my videos. So I don't know. I'm having a blast. I mean, think about it. I'm actually doing something productive. More videos that are coming out. Obviously, now that this CAMO X4 is back together, I'm going to do some ripping on this CAMO X4. We are going to jump it in the backyard track. We're going to rip it. I've never taken this X4 into my backyard track because I pretty much think it didn't even exist. I think after I broke the CAMO X4 was when I started doing the backyard track, because I was running other vehicles. And it's not really made for that backyard track, but it'll rip it. I mean, it's 3S. It'll move. It's not lightning fast, but it's a rock racer. It's not supposed to be. I've never done speed runs on this, so if anybody's interested in speed runs, I'll be doing speed runs on this. I'll probably do like a 2S speed run. We are factory, like, as far as, like, this whole thing is factory, except for, you know, now the front bumper and the aluminum rear links. But even technically, those are factory, because it's a factory upgrade for the links, which are aluminum, which are awesome. And if you need Redcat parts, I can't stress it enough. TeamRedcatShop.com is where you got to go to get your Redcat parts. They don't always have anything in stock, but give them a shot. Give them a shot first. And what's nice is you can also email them and say, "Hey, do you have these parts coming?" And literally, the guy, he will email you back and at least give you a time frame. Prices are cheaper, which I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does the prices that he does. Maybe he just sells mass quantities. I don't know. I know I just bought a mass quantity of tires off of him, because you can't beat the tires. Those Kaiju tires, you cannot beat those. It's not a belted tire, but if that's the size tire and wheel you're looking for, perfect for the Kaiju, perfect for the Traxxas Max. We're actually going to rip it on the Habao Hyper MT Sport, their first edition truck. I am going to run the regular tires first, get speed, do all that junk, you know, jumps and whatever. And then I'm going to switch it over to probably sticking with the Kaijus. We got this thing right here. So to give you an idea of what, stock. So this is the Hyper or Habao Hyper SS. They call it a caged truggy, but I'm still calling it a buggy because to me this is a buggy. But they're calling it a caged truggy only because this obviously comes in another version, which is a truggy style, which is basically the same exact thing, except they got rid of the cage, which I like the cage though. I like the openness of the cage. But if you want to see what the kaijus look like on this thing, I mean, this is what it should look like. I mean, look at this thing. I don't know if I'm like totally in frame or not because I can't see, but this is what it should look like versus this. I get this. I do get it. But this is me right here. This is the look that I want to go for. The only thing that we came across was like I suspected, we came across front wheel interference with the front suspension. It's actually the, I think it's the lower arms and maybe a part. Yeah, I think it's just the lower arms. So at full lock, turning to the left, well, at least right now, because I only have it on the left. Full lock turning left, it starts to rub that back section. So that's the only drawback. Gus's Custom Creations was saying to trim out the wheel versus hub extenders. I'm not sure why. I got to message him and figure out why he's saying, don't do the hub extenders. Maybe it's cost effectiveness, or maybe he feels that I'll be overdriving the front suspension. I don't know. I do know that when you do put hub extenders on, you do start to mess with the suspension, only because you're actually adding more. You're not adding really weight. You're adding leverage, which is kind of almost like weight. So it's added leverage onto everything there. So therefore, that would be, you'd have to upgrade the springs, or you'd have to crank them down to get some of that tension back. You most likely would have to up the shock oil a little bit. Like, there's all these little things, and maybe that's why he's saying trim out the wheel. And they probably have, when you look at the back side of that Kaiju tire and wheel, or at least the wheel set, it's definitely built to where I probably could trim it out, no problem. It's just, I feel like it's more work, but on the opposite, with Gus telling me, forget the extenders, trim out the wheel, maybe it's actually less work. I don't know. I potentially could see that it is, but all I'm doing right now is I'm just taking up your time. Like I said, if you like the channel, you already know what to do. And we finally got the CAMO X4 back in, it's basically running condition right now. I'm going to put the body on just so you can see what it looks like with the body on. Because I like this open body like this. And yeah, it's nasty. It's dirty. But this is the look that I like. Right here. That's sharp. You know what I mean? For a rock racer from Redcat Racing, this definitely has a nice look. And what I do is I use these red body pins right here, and I put them upside down. Like, is that sideways? It's been so long, I don't remember which way these go. So I put them upside down. Actually, I do it this way, though. I put them upside down so that in a rollover, they kind of, I guess the intent is that they wouldn't get ripped out. So I like these little 30-degree clips. So I'll go on the back side, throw them in on the back side here. These ones go in sideways, I hope. Yeah. Sideways like that. Again, same thing. I think the intent, at least in my head, was so that they just didn't get ripped out. Granted, it's probably less apt to get ripped out here than it would on the front, because normally I think it would clear, like you have definitely an angle clearance going this way where it's not touching these body clips. but for some reason I felt like, at least on the front, that there was, I guess, the potential, if these were the other way, that they could get tore out. Maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just like to rip RCs. I do like wrenching very much. I just think it's fun. So, yeah, I'm just going to end this video with you guys looking at, finally, what is this like? Technically, 90%. It's 90% done, because all I got to do is just hook up the electronics. So anyways, if you're here, go ahead, give me a thumbs up if you want. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm going to check the thing here real quick just to see who's here. Like I said, I'm missing a lot of these things here. So there's somebody here that I've never seen before. B Jeep, something like that. So, Earl, you're still here, guy? Holy smokes, man. John Wick is here. Larry Mitchell, what's going on, guy? We'll see you later. Oh, Earl, you're taking off. Perfect. Who else is here? Gus's Custom Creations here. Pat's channel was here. What else? 14 people. That's not too bad. Ready, set guy. I don't know if you're here. Chef. Oh, Chef went to work already. Sorry, I didn't see that, man. But anyways, like I said, when I'm doing the live, it's tough. It's tough to pay attention, I guess. But anyways, like I said, I'm just going to leave it off at this. Thank you, everybody that came to the live stream. It's always a blast. And like I said, let me know if you like this COVID and coffee morning check-in, because the intent is to literally just keep it going, probably until the COVID's gone. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, like I said, thanks for coming, and we're out. Are you sure you want to end the stream? Yes, I do. See you later, everybody. Thank you.